más eres uno electoral.
Happy holidays! I've got a gift for you. Buy 4 tarot readings or coaching session gift codes in any combination and you'll receive 2 additional gift codes too. So use all 6 codes for yourself or share them with friends and family as holiday gifts, stocking stuffers, or maybe even birthday presents. These don't expire, so you can feel free to use them and share them throughout the year. Merry Christmas, and thank you so much for being my friends. Hi there, Sagittarius. This is your weekly reading for the week of December 21st. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you. Monday, the card you've drawn is the Ten of Cups, so there's a nice feeling of optimism, a sense of hope, and even if you're not with your family, biological or otherwise, or if you just don't have a family and it's you and the cat or the bird or goldfish, remember that family is where you are, who you are. And of course, there are always going to be souls out there that have absolutely no one to talk to, a shut in, a person with no family, a person who just has somehow ended up on the path alone. If you are one of these people, I want to remind you that you are never alone. There is always love with you. If you subscribe to the spiritual world, it's always there. It doesn't go away. So if you miss a loved one and you think of them, I promise you they're there. If you miss your family who is living and you're not in contact for whatever reason, remember that the bond is love. Even if love is lost on one side or the other, it's always there. And so if you meet somebody who's one of these shut-ins, or you know somebody is particularly alone around the holidays, even if they're somewhat gruff or even coarse, maybe you can be the person who takes a plate of cookies or brings a dish already prepared, wrapped in cellophane to take to this person. Whether they eat it or not, throw it away, feed it to the dog, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that they will remember that someone showed up and said Merry Christmas, or whatever it is that you decide to say, and you will have left an impression on somebody who may absolutely have needed some validation or some verification that they're actually thought of by someone and not just forgotten. So don't forget, you can actually help bring this energy and the spirit of love and peace to somebody who may need it, even if they say, get out of here. Trust me, you have affected them. Mercury in Capricorn is your solar second house, and there's a sextile to Chiron in Pisces in effect. Pisces being your solar fourth house of the home and foundation and family. So this is actually a very appropriate card for this feeling of optimism. This gives us an opportunity, as I said, to share the love, feel the love, and either physically bringing love to somebody or calling someone, texting somebody to share those words, or it comes to you. The opportunity to give it, feel it, and receive it is there. The sun enters Capricorn. For you, that's a lovely place because, of course, your solar second house of possessions and objects and the way you feel about these material things and even your values as related to these objects and what you really think about things. Do things mean anything to you, or are they just inanimate objects? Or do you need to work on why it is that you don't feel valid without having these things, right? Makes us think of the beautiful Mercedes-Benz logo, any other number of logos such as this, where some people don't feel validated unless they can achieve that. And they'll be living in a house with a leaky roof, but they're driving an amazing car. And then we think, really, boy, my insurance and everything wouldn't want to be where I spend the money if I have a leaky roof or can't get dental care or something. And so sometimes the question isn't really about how many possessions or how few, but what do we think of them? Is it lovely to hold a Fabergé egg just for the beauty of it? Or does it represent to you an achievement as to having a piece of art in your hand? Or will you not feel complete if you don't effectively own one and point it out to others and say, look, I finally have it? So Capricorn is very grounding in this position. So it actually will help you realize that your presence is more appreciated than any present you could give to someone else. Mars in Libra also semi-sextiles Jupiter and Virgo, Libra being your solar 11th house of friends, group associations, the bigger picture that they all comprise, who they are, how you fit in or don't, and what they're doing. The semi-sextile to Jupiter in Virgo, your solar 10th house, makes me feel good about this because quite a few of you will be feeling that there are opportunities coming in the form of adjustments. So some of you may be like, Rita, you don't even know. My contract is running out at this job. I love these people. I want to be with my groups of friends in the 11th house. And yet the universe is indicating that I need to do something else, and I don't know how I feel about that. Well, the semi-sextile is saying there's something to gain here. Always reminds me of a little vessel, a little cup, that something is going to be filled that you will enjoy and appreciate once you can get over the fact that you have to first have an empty glass or vessel in order to fill. It doesn't mean anything particularly about you, but it could mean that there's going to be a bigger group, a greater group, more of a group, or even just a couple of people who specifically stand out in relation to these adjustments. That really does affect you and makes you feel good about it once you realize that this is what's going on. On Tuesday, the card you've drawn is a Temperance in reverse. It doesn't really cause any problems here. It's really talking about the feeling of being a little bit off balance as it relates to the issue I just discussed, the idea that somehow something needs to be adjusted, and something then will come to you that fills that with new opportunities and more and different experiences with people. So some of you may be seeing this in the idea that it's actually much more like not having a job because you don't want to go get the job because you're kind of intimidated about working with other people, and you're happier to get by on your own devices and stay at home and stay away from them. And you know how it is, sometimes we think, well, I feel fine and I feel safe, and within the construct of these walls, I am not at risk to feeling rejection, being hurt, or inadvertently hurting anyone else. And the universe says, no, 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 put your shoes on and brush your hair because it's time to go out. And so some people may be feeling like, no, I don't want to go out. I don't want to do this. And the universe says, come on, come on. If not, we will pull you. And then you see that something comes of great value and or illumination that you can then help others with at some point in the future. And I'm sure you will. The moon is in Gemini at this point, and that will help you see kind of where the duality of the situation and or the discomfort actually brings a more magnified and more experiential, kind of situation or environment where you say, wow, I look back and I was so uncomfortable with the idea of having to take this job. And then I take the job and I actually see that I can have my comfortable home life with my things and within the construct. And I come out and I thought I'd feel vulnerable and I feel great. And that might be exactly what the universe would like you to do. On Wednesday, we've got the Knight of Cups, and this is wonderful because there is a situation or even a person approaching with something to offer you. Now, in romantic situations, in romantic concepts, we have to remember that even though the Knight of Cups comes bearing something that is romantic and actually very seductive and piques your interest, you have to remember that the Knight of Cups does have a little bit of the aura of we don't know if this person can be trusted and we're not sure how genuine his affections are. So the best way to work with the energy is to take baby steps and incrementally get to know this person, and only you know how much of that is appropriate for you. But I think we can all agree that slow and steady is always much, much more conducive to setting the foundation for a good friendship, and or realizing that somebody is not as genuine as you would have hoped they were. But keep in mind also at the same time that the experiences you have along the way are valuable. And now, of course, if you meet a serial killer, then you would have really appreciated going very slow before you make yourself vulnerable or give away your routines or say that you never lock the back door at night, because that's quite obvious, right? And that's not what's going on here. I just want you to keep that in mind. Sometimes we have to remind each other that not everybody is good. And even though Sagittarius, you're always good, we have to remember that there are some people that are not as forthcoming or even as trustworthy as they appear. But there's definitely something here on the horizon coming to you probably sooner than later, and there will be an opportunity for you to decide what you want to do with this, which brings us to Christmas Eve. On Thursday, we've got the Two of Swords, and most definitely there's a decision that asks to be made, and you may decide not to decide or be stuck in indecision because you say, well, both of these options are good or are interesting, but I don't know how to choose between them. Well, you might not want to decide when you feel you can't make a decision. Why would any of us want to make a decision when we're right there stuck for some reason, when we know that that means that there is something else to be known? Maybe there's more information we have to wait for. At times we have to actually be stuck. Now, if it's a situation where you have to answer about a job, then of course there could be time of the essence, but that is again up to you and how you feel. If you presented me with an offer or something that I feel stuck in the Two of Swords, I want to make this decision, but I don't know if I can. Well, when it comes to money, if you really need it and the job is there, you have to take precautions because it may not work out the way you thought. But if you really need that paycheck, then go for it and do whatever you need to do. It's like anything else when we're doing astrology that is used for timing procedures or to have some important dental work done, or even some much more corrective procedures that are more intense. If you have time to make a decision, then fine. But you know what? If you're on the way to the emergency room and about to have an appendectomy, you don't have time to choose the better opportunity, the better window, the better day. A better option isn't going to be available because the universe says, hey, you need to go now, because if not, you could be in a lot more trouble than just an appendectomy. So there's a big difference between having to decide when there's no choice and there is no decision, it just has to happen, and or say, I'm offering you my hand and I want you to date me, and we're in those discussions and you don't know if you want to date me, or I'm saying, hey, look, we need to take this from dating to commitment and I'm making you feel pressured. Well, probably that's a really good sign that you need to take your time, because none of us should pressure each other or feel that we have to acquiesce to somebody else's request just because they're in a hurry or they're pushing, because it usually comes down to the sleazy used car salesman concept, right? Where they're like, gotta go now, gotta act now because this car's already sold and in 15 minutes the new owner's going to be here. So come on. I would be like, yeah, pretty much you can go ahead and keep it because I don't want it. So if you feel that you can't make a decision in any number of ways that this could obviously present, then just don't do anything. If you're not ready, don't do anything. Now, if it's a procedure that is becoming imminent, then you need to just do what you need to do. But here I think there is a level of choice, because again, we've got this Venus in Scorpio sextiling Jupiter in Virgo, and for you that's your solar 12th house where Venus is, and Jupiter in Virgo is that solar 10th house of the career or the chosen profession or your fame and reputation. And so the sextile gives us an opportunity, but I don't think that you really need to feel pressured, because Venus in your 12th house is going to give you an opportunity to make sense with some very, how could I put it, subtle, if not, I can't find the word for this. Boy, I'm stuck on the word for this. Let me think. Subtle and possibly, potentially otherworldly. That's what I'm going to use. Otherworldly ideas and considerations. So I say otherworldly in that these considerations really don't apply to this physical dimension until we come to a conclusion about whether we'll take the opportunity. And let me see if I can come up with an idea, a concept for this so that you can understand why I had difficulty with that word. You are in past life regression hypnotherapy. I know that sounds weird, but it's a good one. And you're hoping to get some help so that you can feel more confident about going back out into the world, especially for those of you that have been very reclusive or haven't been part of the workforce, as it were, for a very long time, or you have not been able to have a relationship with a real human, not a concept. And so you're getting this help. And you're getting this help at a time when your Knight of Cups shows up trying to offer you a relationship. Well, this is why I'm saying you don't need to be in a hurry. Because at this time, the beauty of it all is that part of this is happening in your psyche, in your personal self. And if you're not ready and you can't make a decision to do this, then you definitely don't need to, because the correction, if not resolution, is going to present itself organically. It's just going to work out the right way. So if you feel that you are in something of a hurry, remember that Venus is reminding you that the beauty of it all, the benefit and the success of it all, has to do with you feeling good about yourself in public, back in the world, going in. So absolutely, if somebody, for example, presents you with an engagement ring, another hypothetical, on Christmas Eve, I would say sweetly, I don't know if I can accept. Let me think about it, and I will let you know as soon as I know. So don't feel pressured. You can say something coquettish and get away with it, male or female. You can say, I'm thinking about it, and I'll let you know how I feel. So that way you don't wreck their vibe or ruin the moment. But look, if let's say a guy is trying to propose to a gal and he gets up and says, I need to know right now because this is what I want. And then I'm already going to tell you, hey, I wouldn't rush this damn thing along, because this person is too eager to get you to commit so that then he can hold the commitment over your head. So of course, I'm not trying to say that all of you should just not accept the proposals. I'm saying that you just have plenty of time to think about this without being in a hurry. Also, here on Christmas Eve, the moon, that Gemini moon, will go void of course. And so I don't think any of us should make any decisions that are that important. I certainly wouldn't go buying something that's kind of skittish there on the edge of the road, maybe outside Times Square, and somebody's selling you a very particularly expensive watch, and take it now, because it's not that I think it's hot, it's that I think that it isn't what you think it is, and it's probably going to fall apart when you snatch that thing up for only $500, right? So here on Friday, Christmas Day, you've got the Ace of Wands, and this is great because here we are with you feeling good about yourself in whatever way, but in general, it is you feeling like you can start to take those brand new steps to become more fully who it is that you want to be, or who you're emerging as. And I think that part of the beauty of this as well is that with Uranus stationary and about to go direct, you may surprise yourself with some of the changes, surprising, maybe even sweeping changes that you're about to make. And maybe the changes will occur organically, as the Ace of Wands would indicate, all around you. So you don't have to rush through anything. Trust me when I'm telling you here, it's more important as this week winds down. So the closer we get to the end of the week, you'll see why it was better that you held on and didn't make any knee-jerk decisions. We also have the full moon at 3 degrees Cancer, which will trine Neptune. So the full moon is happening in your solar 8th house, which is wonderful because for those of you that decided to or not accept a particular engagement proposal, or for example, say taking a dating relationship, when you finally feel that it can become an intimate or sexual relationship, this is something that should always be considered with much wisdom, much patience. And you'll see how it will work out for you, because we'll have a full moon here illuminating why you did or didn't engage, why you want to or realize you shouldn't take it a step further. And also Neptune in Pisces, your solar fourth house of home, family, and foundation, is saying that you are the person who really needs to feel that this relationship is worth it, worth taking the next step, and that will be so obvious for you. And again, as I said, as the week winds down, you'll see this and the illumination if you keep your eyes open, right? Stay sober, stay sane, you will see it. Also, we've got Mercury in Capricorn, semi-squaring Neptune in Pisces. There you are, solar second house, where these considerations might be, I value myself more than just jumping into bed with you. I just met you last night. Or we've been talking on the phone and I haven't seen you in person, and now we see each other and you want to take it to this next step so quickly. I value my second house self. I value who I am, what I represent, and it's okay to communicate this. And that might not always be appreciated by the person who's in a hurry, but this is your life and it's your comfort level and what you think would be best for you. And as I said, you'll see it more and more becoming apparent why doing it was right or wrong, or vice versa. Mercury in Capricorn, again, that solar second house, trining Jupiter in Virgo, the solar 10th house, will give us again the realization that, wow, I made the right decision. And you might find out, like, let's take a little bit of a not so desirable outcome and how the beauty of it will work itself out. Let's say that you know this person wanted to take it to that next level and become physically intimate, and you had to say, look, I'm really interested in you so much that I want to keep this slow and comfortable for me. And that person says, oh, come on, you're frustrating me, and whatever it is. And then you find out later from some group of friends in your 10th and 11th house area that they're sure glad you didn't, because they knew that he was dating 4 other people. Or you feel good about your reputation and feel more valuable because that person really appreciated that you weren't ready to take it to that level. And so it could work out beautifully, just absolutely beautifully. So again, trust your intuition, trust yourself. That full moon will be, by the way, at 11:11 a.m. I believe that's Pacific time. No, Universal time. So do your corrections. And that will again be 3 degrees Cancer. Lovely placement for you. The sun also parallels Mercury, so this will really help you communicate your feelings and or understand more accurately what is being communicated to you. And it's always wise to reiterate what you believe you heard. So you want to let that person know what you are hearing. In example, I understand and I feel that I know where you want this relationship to go. Let's just use a relationship example. But are you saying that you want to take it to the next level because you want more commitment with me? Or is it just that you want to take it to that physical level because you want to be physical? And they say, oh, no, that's not what I meant at all. I would love to be physical and intimate with you. I would love a commitment, but only when you're ready. That's what I mean. So sometimes by saying, did I understand you correctly, is perfectly acceptable, and it's appropriate because it will help make sure that both of you are on the same page. Now, this could be any number of scenarios. It doesn't have to be the relationship issue. I'm just giving you these examples because we are talking about the 8th house, which rules everything from death and taxes in my mind to the sexual act to the resources combined to yours, mine, and ours ideas, right? Uranus of course, will go direct, and then we will see how this news, how these exchanges will make Christmas so memorable in, I believe, positive ways, that you'll have lots of memories of feeling good about yourself. And isn't that just the icing on the cake? And on Saturday, we've got the Page of Swords. So here we've got Venus in Scorpio, sextiling the North Node in Virgo, Venus in your 12th house, Virgo, that solar 10th house. And so you really need to remember that the benefit here, the opportunity to get to know yourself and even others on a level that is a little deeper, a little more psychological, will be in this focusing on how you want to be seen in the world, how you want these people, other people, or whoever it is that you're in kinship or relationship to. And so the real benefit is that when you know yourself and understand yourself and your motivations, others will see you more accurately. And as it comes to the Page of Swords, they might feel like, oh, I didn't know she really wasn't defensive. It wasn't that she was a, person easily quick to criticize others. We just didn't really know that this is part of her personality. And so we can say, hey, if I want your advice, I'll ask you for it. And without hurting anyone's feelings, this will be appropriate. Mars and Libra in semi-square to Saturn in Sagittarius, of course. Libra, your 11th house of that social sector, and even the income you produce from your career sector. And Sagittarius, your solar first house there. So this semi-square is really just saying, hey, you are not what your paycheck says. You are who you say you are. You are also not what other people... Oh, hi, Cortana. She has this funny habit of coming up to talk to me when I'm doing this. So this question that needs to be considered is, are you really feeling like your paycheck or your friends are who you are? If you have a bunch of celebrity friends, do you feel good only about them? Do you only feel good if your friends are celebrities, or are you okay with yourself? Are you who they say they are? Have this little dialogue with yourself, and you'll see how the Page of Swords is saying, remember who you are, not what they say you are. So you got to be happy with yourself first always, right? Venus in Scorpio, that same 12th house, is semi-sextiling Mars in Libra, again, the solar 11th house. The opportunity here is for you to become more and more fully who and what you want to be, who you feel you're born to be, who you feel you're meant to be, what your past life experiences, if you believe in this, help shape you to become, not what other people say. Boy, you know what? I suppose maybe I could feel really good about myself if I think about what everybody says about me. Or with the other group, I'm sure there's a few out there who hate my guts and just think I suck like a Hoover. I could feel really bad about myself. So I choose to be whoever I say I am. And when I'm a little low on myself, I'm going to correct it. I'm not going to go out there and seek validation by jumping into bed with 15 people or having to go find another celebrity to be friends with who treats me nicer. So the benefit there of the message is very important, because it's all about who you and you think you are. And if you're thinking to yourself right now, Rita, you don't get it. I just hate myself. I loathe me. I don't like my life. Then we got to talk about what it is that someone has said or didn't say, either in your early childhood experiences or maybe even a past life, that has you thinking this way. And sometimes it isn't even that interesting to define. So often we have to say, wow, your self-esteem isn't what it should be. So we need to talk about this, or you need to have a discussion with yourself and call me if you need it. So often we forget that we also are in charge of ourselves. You are your own keeper. So if you're not feeling good, that's probably something that you think is true about yourself that somebody else said. The moon in Cancer will go void, of course, here this evening. So I'd just sit down, have a mug of hot chocolate, and it could be dietetic and doesn't have to be loaded with a bunch of calories or anything. And you could just enjoy yourself, because there's not a whole lot you need to worry about. You need to just enjoy the moment. Sunday, we've got the Eight of Pentacles, and this is wonderful because Mercury in Capricorn will trine the North Node in Virgo. So I think you finally are understanding how valuable you are. And even if you didn't believe it yourself, there's always going to be someone, even the one person who shows up at the door to say, hey, I brought you some turkey. You know, or if you're a vegisaur, I brought you some veggies and some tofu, and it's delicious. And even if you didn't like it all, what they gave you, you feel like, wow, somebody or this whole group of people showed up at my door and caroled for me. And I felt like the most important person in the world. We also have the sun in Capricorn, quintile to Chiron in Pisces. So again, the second house, and the fourth house. So just remember that the whole idea of the concept of who you are, of course, you know, we're in the world, and so even when people think that they are who others say they are, or I'm not good about feeling good about myself and I can't find my spirituality, this quintile will help you realize that there's probably more to life than just that emblem on your Benz, and that to help you heal the way you feel about your foundation or the things that you think make you feel solid, like the mansion on the hill or the this or that. Makes me think about that, I can never pronounce her name, Teresa Jaducci. Anyway, that Real Housewives reality star who just came out of prison and she's back home. I think she figured out real quick, and I believe I'm accurate on this. I think she just realized that she doesn't give a shit about her house or anybody else right now. She just wanted to be home with her family. You could have sent her home to a cardboard box under the bridge, and she would have loved on those kids. And it doesn't even matter what we all think of her husband. You know, she just is feeling good about this. This is for her a sun in Capricorn, quintile, Chiron, and Pisces moment. The money doesn't matter. She can make more money, or she doesn't need money. It doesn't matter. She's happy about coming back to the people she loves. And then her husband gets some in March, right? Mercury in Capricorn will semi-sextile Saturn in Sagittarius. So second house, semi-sextile, or excuse me, I think it is a semi-square. Saturn and Sagittarius, again, you are not your possessions, but if you've got them and you enjoy them, you know, maybe you can do that for yourself, and then maybe you can pick a charity that you would love to kick something over to, or you know that in the neighborhood there are kids without coats, and you go make some magic happen and you stuff a little surprise into each of those pockets so that you can make somebody else feel loved as well. We have the moon moving into Leo, which just gives it all a very expansive flavor, and you will see, my friend, that everything goes according to plan, and that just the fact that you are present in this world at this time, and that you are loved, the universe loves you, and I love you too. It's going to make everything wonderful you next year. So enjoy yourself. Have a wonderful Christmas. God bless you, and I'll be talking to you soon.